ensure that we put this together. So I want us to have some reflections tonight for tonight's class to give it a bit of twist and a tweak to what we've been doing for so long now. After tonight's class, we're going to have most likely just one more or two classes. Now, the reason we'll have two classes is to do a final presentation of the books we've read and to have a proper class where we get to discuss and together prayerfully put together some strategies on how to go about executing the plans that God gives us. So that those two classes should not be missed for anything in the world. So tonight I want us to have some reflections, based on what we've done so far. Most of us have refused to do our assignments, and it's really heartbreaking. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I might be forced to give us another assignment this week because at least we're supposed to have 4 assignments because we're not writing exams that will be scored. We've not done the first one. I'm going to be giving us just one more. So that I think the first one has 3 sessions or sections where you're supposed to evangelize to 3 categories of people. So the first, we're going to use that as 3, and then the second one I'll be giving you tonight, make it the 4th one. That way we'll have something to score. So if you have not intentionally done that first assignment, I would advise you to do it. Your presentations and attendance in the course will also have marks. Your attendance to the remaining 2 classes, of course, is paramount because you'll be finalizing on so many things, and it's going to be a very beautiful class. So today, like I said, we'll be reflecting on certain things, and those reflections are going to help us really look back for so far that we've been attending the classes, all the slides you've put together, all the notes you have jotted. I want you to look at this every week, what you have read every week, and I want you to pick out 2 things that you would love God to help you with, and you will be delighted to practice. We're going to play 2 scenarios where if you were in this person's shoes. So for instance, it's going to be like a drama, so permitting. Imagine you were an hawker on the street and you've always dreamt of a very good life. But it seemed like God failed you because something happened and your parents could not sponsor you to school. So you ended up hawking, selling stuff to support yourself. You couldn't even go to a proper secondary school, talking of a university. You're trying to hawk so you can at least attend a polytechnic. And so because of this, you stop going to church, right? And someone walks up to you, all right, and told you to give your life to Christ. How are you going to react? I'm actually going to dramatize this in class. We're going to experiment it in class. We're going to have a scenario where we have the preacher and then you that you want to relay your story. So for it to be balanced, I know we have about 4 or 5 people in class, so we're going to have 2 scenarios. The second scenario will be someone who lost a spouse, and they were so in love. The spouse loves God so much. In fact, your spouse was the first to give his life to Christ. He led you to Christ, and he loved God so much. You were on your way to church, and you were involved in a ghastly motor accident. You died on the spot, and God saved you. And his last breath and his last words before you heard him die was, Jesus, accept my soul. Every time you remember that word, you feel hurt that so Jesus watched him die. He couldn't even leave him for you. And then you have responsibilities of like 4 children to take care of. And this broke you silently, quietly. You went to church. You were not hearing anything they said until gradually you just stopped going to church. You go once in a while, but it's just out of social duty. You backslided, but you're not willing to change because the hurt is so much, the burdens, the responsibilities. I want you to minister to that person. So we're going to have those 2 scenarios. Lastly, our reflection will be to pray for the hungry, thirsty, and dying soul out there who needs help desperately, but they don't know they can find it in God. I want you to be their voice. I want you to pray that God will send them help. And I want you to carry God. I want God to carry you rather into realms where you can encounter people like this, like who desperately needs help, and they are on God's mind because they have prayed to God, have cried to God. If I'm permitted to be in class, I'm going to share some stories with you where I interceded and God took me on a journey. So I want you to desire this and just shut your eyes. And for the first time, for some of us, and for the first time in a long while for many of us, we're going to have a heart-to-heart talk, intercession, and deep groaning, carrying God's burden, sharing in His burden, not asking Him for ourselves and needs, but for other people who needs help even more than you and I. And I want you to do it from the depth of your heart. And everything you see, I want you to document it. Everything you hear, I want you to document it. The feelings can come later of how you felt, or the things that God is showing you. I want you to document everything. I'm going to stop here now. Happy to see you in class. God bless you.